My name is Ekaterina. I'm an immigration officer. I'm not an immigration officer anymore. Hello, my name is Ekaterina. I'm an immigration attorney. In my past life, 2 years ago, I used to work for USCIS as an immigration officer. Today, I am working on the other side, helping you guys. If you need some help with your case, please let us know. But today, what I wanted to discuss with you, because a lot of people was like, "Oh, tell us, how was it working at the immigration service?" It was actually a good time. I did not leave the immigration service because it was a bad position. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, but I already wanted to step away and start helping people because I'm also an attorney. I have license, and I wanted to actually be able to help people because as an adjudicator we were not able to help out an applicant. We were supposed to be neutral. So I do take great pleasure now in helping our clients to succeed and help them out through this process. Anyways, but what I wanted to discuss today, what officers actually pay attention to. When I was an officer, I remember I used to pay attention to a lawyer. When an applicant comes in, who do they actually bring with them? Because some lawyers, they have reputations. If I see a reputation, or rather, if I see a lawyer with a reputation that he or she files kind of, questionable cases, I would actually put this applicant under a big question mark as well. Like, I know there were some fraudulent cases, there were a lot of inconsistencies with the cases that this attorney files. I'm gonna dig in with this applicant as well because he is associated with this attorney. It doesn't necessarily mean that this specific applicant would be also fraudulent, no, but I would pay extra attention to this case to see whether this case is genuine. Another factor I would pay attention to is an interpreter. Some interpreters also have reputations. I remember I had a case that I had some suspicion that this interpreter was, we call them they're hidden masterminds. They actually manipulate those cases. I mean, I don't know, but I had the suspicion because once I remember I was interviewing this applicant and I was getting some good information. I'm not going to tell you what case was this and what I was questioning this specific applicant about, but it was relevant to my adjudication and very relevant to my adjudication, and she was forthcoming. She was giving me a lot of good info. And then I see this interpreter takes out a candy, puts this candy in their mouth, and these applicants stops talking. I was like, oh my gosh, I know this was like a sign that don't speak too much. And then I could not get anything out of this applicant. And the unfortunate part was maybe I would have been able to help her out had she given me more information, but because she listened to this interpreter, I had to deny her case. It's just an unfortunate circumstance. So a lot of the times these poor applicants are victims of this, not particularly genuine helpers. I'm pretty sure they were not only their interpreter, but they were also helping her out behind the scenes. So just be mindful who you work with. I do wish that you work with professionals who actually have the best interest in mind, so you actually present the best case forward, that you present your case truthfully, genuinely, and in the strongest possible position. That's my take on that. All right, another case, when I was an officer, I was paying attention how much documents this applicant brought with them. Sometimes I would ask well, is this something that's in your case? Oh no, I brought something additional. Oh, what is that? Oh, I brought something, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes they would bring in a relevant document that would not be particularly helpful to their case and be like, oh my gosh, well, had you not shown me this piece of document, maybe I would have approved you. But now that I know you have this, I have to deny you. So having said this, have a strategy with your attorney before you go for the interview, because possibly this could be your only chance to prove your case. This kind of, on the fly kind of action, I'm gonna do this, sometimes does not play out well. So have a strategy in mind, go to the interview prepared and execute the strategy according to the plan. talk to your attorney, figure out what the strategy is. And usually the strategy, it boils down to what the facts are and what the elements of the case, of this specific case, that you have to prove. So basically, when an officer, they interview you, they have to get a certain amount of facts to see whether they satisfy those elements of the case. So focus on the relevant facts that you need to have to prove the case. All right, well, I know this is like a lot of legal mumbo jumbo, but basically what I'm trying to say, sometimes an applicant, they provide a little bit too much that would not be relevant to the case, but might even hurt their case. So keep in mind, have a strategy, what you're going to be saying and what you're bringing to the interview. All right, this is just a little snippet that I wanted to share with you. But if you need some help with building a strategy of your case, come to us. Maybe if you have like a short question, maybe share it in the comments. I understand sometimes it's a little bit more sensitive or confidential. In that case, drop us a DM message and schedule a consultation with us, and we'll try to see how we'll be able to help you. I wish everybody the best, and I hope everybody gets their green card if this is what you're looking for, their immigrant or non-immigrant visa if this is what you're looking for, and that you're able to enjoy this beautiful country legally. And I wish everybody to have the best outcome possible.